Hey everybody, this is VK from the Viking Metal Show, Grey Wolf, and Jeff Addison from the Poconos Folk Pagan Viking Metal Fest, correct?
That's the official title, but just Pocono Folk Metal Fest is, simple. Just keep it simple, yeah.
Like we were saying earlier, this is your third year here, right?
Third year, started in 2015, so yeah, this is our third year. This is our second year here at the Pocono Plaza Inn. People loved it last year, and they wanted us to do it again here this year. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. It was a great venue.
I loved it. I had a good time.
We were very grateful to you and to everybody that's been participating. And we heard that you have more help this year.
Yeah, we have a person handling all our vendors, which is Michael, our Carnero. He handled all the vendor things, so that kind of took that off my plate. And we have a different sound company that came in, so they're dealing with all the sound. I have someone that's doing the shirts. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of divorced myself of some of those things. So I'm still busy, but not as much. So I really kind of handled more of the PR stuff, the bands.
So what basically inspired you to start doing the fest?
Well, if you guys remember, a couple years ago, there was a tour that came around called Pagan Fest, which started in Europe and came here to the States. So you would have bands from Europe like Corpaclani and Fintroll, Primordial, all coming over. So about 3 years ago, they announced that it was basically a dead franchise. This is like January of 2015. I just said, I wonder if there's still any interest. And so I kind of put it out there on like Facebook, and I think I put it on Craigslist. Would anyone be interested in a folk metal festival in the And I got responses from everywhere. I got bands from Australia, bands from Europe, bands from South America wanting to play. I'm like, I can't believe, on a whim, I just threw it out there. And so then I really started getting the ball rolling with it, and started booking bands. And I found a venue right here in Stroudsburg in Pennsylvania here, at the Sherman Theater. They had a room that was appropriate for what the scale of this show was at that point. And they're really the ones that kind of inspired the idea of it being a festival instead of just being bands. I just really thought of bands, and they said, well, you're calling it a festival, are you going to have like other things like vendors? And I said, ding, oh my God, that's a great idea. I didn't really. And so then I started booking vendors, and then it just kind of went from there. So now the third year, I've got the template of how I would do things, and then it's a matter of, doing the template either.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing a great thing.
Yeah, it's, I think America does not really have the metal festival like they used to, exactly. with like an Ozfest or, some of the other festivals that came around. And I know this is kind of very niche-y as far as, it's not generic metal, it is folk metal, but I think it's still, popular. I mean, there's a lot of bands that do it. And it's got a wide enough, I think, appeal that you will have people maybe that are kind of maybe more into black metal or some other genres that will come to hear certain bands and then they'll experience the other ones.
We did notice that. We did see that there was a lot of different variety of people. We saw paganry, we saw witch, we saw a little bit of everything. And it was really nice.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is I as much as it is a folk metal festival, there are some bands that are probably slightly on the peripheral edges of, are they really a folk metal band? That's, that's like, is it a black metal band or is it,
well, we saw that with one of your bands.
Yeah, perfect example. So, I'm not necessarily the arbiter of what is, but I just think these are all groups that work, and I try to get a variety of groups, ones that are a little more extreme, some that are a little more progressive, some that are a little more folky. I just try to, and it's a matter of bands that want to play it. If I put it out there, all I got to, I just got to look at my inbox, and they're all like, yes, we would like to play.
Because the bands are out there.
Yeah.
It's just nobody is doing the venue. Yeah, nobody is really sponsoring, metal music anymore.
It's, I've been into metal for well over 30 years, and I was going to metal shows in Allentown every weekend. Every weekend there was a show, and it was like not just entry-level acts, your national acts. You'd have your like metal band, like Testament and Overkill and Fate's Warning and Sabotage. They were Man of War. They would all be playing in now they don't. The venues in Allentown are gone. So for me as a metal fan, I've either got to drive into Philly or New York if I want to see a show now, and that's not for me. It's not practical.
And where do you really go in New York? That's something we were saying earlier. We have St. Vitus. We have Duff's. Yeah. We have such a limited venue right now. You got the demand. The people are out there. Everybody's out there dying for it, and you're doing.
And
this
that's
is
the
what we
key
want.
thing is like if what I put together doesn't succeed, then it's like I hate to like give it up, but I mean with this kind of a lineup with 16 bands and all the vendors and all that, if it doesn't succeed, then I would start second guessing whether or not I could do it again or would want to do it again, because it's like it's like throwing money into an old car. Sometimes you just gotta give it up, and I don't want to do like that, because there's a lot of people that convince me that it's it's going to work again. It's good. So again, it's a time will tell thing. We see how this weekend goes, and then I can kind of go from there. But after this I decompress for a little while, and then I drop back and kick, and then I had probably 40 bands as a possibility for this one, and some of it comes together, and then I just make some decisions.
What'd you end up with?
There's 16 bands this time, so 6 are playing tonight, and then 10 tomorrow night. So
And last year you did everything in one.
day, yeah.
And how many bands was that?
That was 10 bands last year too.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little chaotic last year. I mean, it's hard to put that much in, but now again, I have more help, so it's a little more organized. And again, I've done it before, so the big thing like for this year is really, for the bands to stick to their timetables, and the turnover times are quicker, and we have more help with the sound company and all that. So things should run much smoother, hopefully, this year.
Right. All right. So
Well,
I
we just
guess-
want to say thank you.
yeah,
That's
thank you.
amazing. I
Thank
just
you
want
for
to
the
say thank
Viking
you.
Metal
Appreciate
Show,
it.
man.
You
We
guys
love that you're
supporting the
doing
scene.
this.
Yeah,
and-
absolutely.
And we want everybody to get
Hopefully-
out here and give Jeff some support.
Yeah.
because,
Why don't you get your butts out here?
Hey, come on, you can be here tomorrow. The big thing for everyone that's going to watch this is, and everyone wants the European bands to play the festival. I have tons of friends in Europe that want to play the festival, but you've got to support local metal
Absolutely.
for it to happen. If you don't support local metal, I'm telling you, the European bands aren't going to take the chance or the risk of coming over here and lose money. You need to support your local metal scene wherever you're at, and that's what's going to get those European or the Canadians or the South American bands to come over here and play. Music business in general, I mean, a lot of bands, and I hate to use the word that they do it as a hobby, but because of technology and being able to throw up a brand new album up on Bandcamp without having a label or distribution or actually a physical copy of an album, anyone can do that now. Anyone. All you need is hook it up to your computer, and so it's really a matter of it's a completely different animal than it was 20, 30 years ago. I'm hoping that it catches fire here somehow, but I can't really it's
up to you.
It's up to you, the fans,
That's right. Make this happen.
to support the scene. So
Excellent, man. Well, hey,
Again, Jeff, we got to
Thanks
say
for
thank
this.
you. And
no, thank you guys for all
man.
your support.
Really,
really
appreciate
appreciate
it,
it.
man. Guys,
Pretty good.
Good.
what's the name of your band?
It's Ferus Din.
Ferris didn't.
Ferus Din.
Yes.
Yeah, so a wild noise, basically.
It's a Latin term for wild noise. We formed because, these two are already in a black metal band, and I was in a folk metal band before that broke up. So, I play a lot of wind instruments, and I needed a way to, play that stuff in the metal community. So we started writing stuff, and this guy here wrote some pretty sweet fucking tracks, and we went with it.
So what we did was sort of to incorporate some of the woodwinds that Elena brought to Throne, but in more of a black metal setting. And it started out really sort of a little more melodic, Taka style, and evolved into more of a twisted black metal monster, a little more dissonant, but still on the classical side of things. Not quite so folky as much as incorporating folk themes into
A nastier sound.
a nastier, dirtier black metal and classical kind of sound. We're all on Facebook. We have a Facebook
Yeah,
page.
Facebook /Ferus Din Buffalo is where we're at now. We're working on our full length right now, so that will be available, I'm sure, via Bandcamp and other media outlets as soon as it's finished. We're hoping, maybe early 2018.
Hey, I'll take the horn from you. Nice, very nice.
We need to get ready, don't we? Hey, it looks like Handway, which I think is kind of they're okay, but it's not bad. I won't be balanced. Don't say it. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm about to get killed. What's the password? Please. What say you? We gotta go to the store. I think it's
What the hell are you doing? Get that thing out of here.
I like this.
Very nice.
Thank you.
This is nice.
Stop by.
Nice little beard. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. That's a nice one.
Hi, I'm Nick from Isenmor.
I'm Mike from Isenmor.
All right, you guys sounded great tonight. Just want to let you know that.
Thank
you.
And man, what a great set! It really kicked my ass anyway. So, where you guys from?
We are from the Baltimore, Maryland area.
Right on. Cool. How long you guys been together?
3, 4,
About
4 years.
about 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, right on. So tell me a little bit about the band. How'd you guys form?
Well, the guitarist Tim and I, Tim basically just asked me if we wanted to make a folk metal band focusing on violins. So then we put out Craigslist ads for violinists. We got 2 responses. Both guys came and auditioned, and we liked them both, so we kept them both.
are currently working on our full-length album. We are close to getting finished. I guess we're just finishing up the violins and doing the vocals, and then I guess mixing, producing,
Anything else?
anything else in the promotion. So we're expecting to have it done, have it released somewhat early next year, maybe by spring, maybe late winter, early spring of next year.
We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Isenmor. We're on Bandcamp, just isenmor.bandcamp.com. We have isenmor.com.
I think we're really on all the social media. We just
Yeah.
have them locked together, so
Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
edit each other.
Yeah. If you find one, you'll probably find the rest.
ไม่ได้วงไปเช็กสโลวาเกีย
So can anybody find you online?
You can find me on Facebook right now under Odin's Antiques. If you find two dragon heads with a sword in between, that's me. And what I'm off to share with people.
It's not like so overt.
Yeah, I had one and I lost it during the League of Legends. But I kept losing it with the chain.
I even have Odin's knowledge in this little box.
Very cool.
Let's break